Hey y'all, Tommy Post here. Doing another micro pig video today on special request. I don't remember if it was volume 3 or 4. I touched on my rear facing winch. Well, since then, I had a pull that I had to do out at the mountain property where I've got some lake property up in northern Tennessee. And we got into a gully and had to do a backup winch to get down so that we can leave. So anyhow, somebody spoke up and asked to give some detail on my rear-facing winch. Well, I'm gonna give it to you, even though it's a little bit ghetto. So basically, here's the hook. I keep it up high so that I can just grab it, whether it's in water or not. All right, so take a look at what's on the inside first. Now this is not complete. I should warn you ahead of time. This is not a finished product. So I'm gonna have a lot of people say, oh, that's not strong enough, that's not gonna work, blah, blah, blah. Well, it worked, and it got me out. One afternoon we went down there, and when we came back, we realized we couldn't go any further unless we used the rear winch. We couldn't go nose down into the ravine or the gully because it was just too steep and the nose would have hit the ground, and if I had to winch forward, it would have pulled the nose down into the ground before it sat down. So it was so tight we had to use the rear winch. So this is what we have on the inside. If you notice, yeah, tick spray. Tennessee, you need it. All right, so all of my stuff is right in here. This little battery box I made, it's just made out of wood. It's 1x4, so it's 3/4 of an inch by 3.5 inches this way. Just cut it to fit, and I'm using a lawnmower battery. That's the one I'm using. Well, there's people that say it's not really a deep cycle battery, but it actually is. It's made to take a continuous charge, but at the same time, a lot of lawnmowers don't make their own voltage for charging. So this same lawnmower battery can hold a charge for a long time on its own. Now, I've only had to do 2 pulls at a time with this. So any more than that, well, I probably should have a bigger battery, or maybe run a wire from the front of the car all the way back here to charge this battery. But the problem is the alternator puts out, I don't know, 35 or 40 amps. And these little batteries are only made to take about 10 amps continuous. Any more than that, and you're gonna boil the acid on the inside and probably ruin the core. So what I do is I just charge this up before I go out on the trail, and then I use this where I need this more than what the stored charge can handle. I just take my little booster box and I hook it up to the terminals here and turn the booster box on, and it just supplements this battery, and it just works. Right inside of here, that's the control box for the winch itself. Now it's just mounted right there to the inner kick panel, or the interior panel. So it doesn't take a whole lot. It's never moved. It's just screwed right to that plastic. But that has the controller inside, and what I've got is I've got a hard wire that goes to a manual thumb switch inside the car, but it also has a remote, so I can use remote if I'm standing outside of the car. So it's got both. Easy to find on eBay, doesn't cost a lot of money. So that's what's on the inside. These are the main leads coming down from the control box, going right through one of the grommets in the floor to the underneath. So underneath, what I've got is a winch that hangs rather than sits up on top. Now these things have a round, or maybe it's an oval cross section of metal that goes from frame rail to frame rail, goes side to side. And that is it right here. So all I have is an ATV style winch plate bolted right through with grade 8 bolts through this rounded metal right up top like that. Now it's only 2 bolts, but I drilled it oversized. Those are 3/8 of an inch, so they're pretty darn strong. And then from there, the base bolts here just go right into the winch. So whether it's upside down or right side up, it does not matter. These winches are sealed, and if it's going to get water intrusion, wouldn't matter if it's standing up or hanging underneath. Now I know that this really is not super strong if I were to do a double line pull, so I'll eventually weld something that goes here and connects to this plate. But for now, it's just got those 2 bolts through there, and it has never not worked, and it has never ovaled out the holes or loosened up on me. So, that's what we have. Because it's hanging down below, it just is coincidence that the fair lead is right below the bumper skin, so there's no problems. I may eventually take this license plate off of here because I never use this thing on the road, and I may cut right through and spin the winch on the upper side of that cross member, that oval cross member, and have it stick through the rear bumper skin. But for now, it works. So as far as the wiring goes, it just heads straight up. And it goes right here. So I can winch in or winch out on command while I'm sitting in the car, driving. Not really driving, but trying to get out. Or I can grab one of these 2 remotes. And I've got them in different colors because the blue one goes to the back winch and the black one goes to the front winch. So I'm gonna probably follow this up with yet another video, because there's always room to add more bracing, more brackets, more weld, just whatever it takes to strengthen this up. But like I said, for now, it has just never not worked.